Mortal Kombat 11, a game the FGC often labels as the most well-balanced fighting game in existence. And to a certain extent, it's pretty spot on. There aren't any downright joke characters. Everyone has at least one matchup that they dominate in, and even Rambo, a character who has been unanimously declared the worst character in the game, has won at least 2 high-level tournaments that I'm aware of. It's a great feeling to say that anyone playing the game for the first time and picking a main purely by how cool they look can not only do well online against randoms, but could also compete at a high level if they put enough hours into practicing. But there's a problem. See, the character I just mentioned as the worst in the game was a guest character. To those unfamiliar, since the release of Mortal Kombat 9 back on PS3 and 360, NetherRealm has been introducing guest characters from differing movie and game franchises as post-launch DLC. Now, not only does it give each game a neat little gimmick like horror movies or 80s action stars, it helps provide a great deal of fan service when seeing a character that's been heavily requested finally being implemented into the game, as well as encouraging fans of these non-Mortal Kombat properties to try the game out and therefore broadening the reach of the fighting game community. Now, due to these guest characters both costing extra money on top of the original price of the game, as well as sometimes being people's only reason for buying the game in the first place, they have a bit of a tendency to be completely fucking broken. However, in MK11, this turned out to not really be the case, as they all have their strengths, but tended to have notable weaknesses to compensate. For example, Spawn has by far the highest practical damage in the entire game. In the hands of a good player, they can end the round in 2 to 3 touches. But the drawback is that he has very slow recovery and predictable mix-ups. But having said that, there is one DLC character who's built a bit different. One with a bottomless amount of pros with nothing negative to compensate. A character who has quite literally broken the game and ruined my experience with it countless times. And I think we all know who I'm talking about. And that's fucking Rain, baby! The best character in the goddamn game! Look at that fucking damage! Oh my god! But in all seriousness, this clown is completely fucked. So I'd like you to lean back in your gaming chair, rip open your favourite flavoured can of sugar blasted tap water, and wallow in self-pity as I explain to you this nerd shit. Okay, so what are the first things you think of when you think the Joker? Well, he's intelligent, mischievous, and he's always got a plan, but we've seen time and time again, extremely fragile. He's more the type to throw henchmen at you than get his hands dirty himself, and we can see an infamous case for the latter where it just doesn't work because it doesn't fit his character. So upon his first reveal in Kombat Pack 1, my initial thoughts were, okay, they're going to make him either a setup character like Frost or Devora or Totem Kodal, or they'll make him a keep away character like Jade or Cetrion and just have him throwing pies and jack in the boxes from far away. But what better way is there for us to check than just sussing him out in practice mode for ourselves? Okay, we got the Joker here, and it's time to suss out his normals. So, stand 1. 8 frames, 2 active, pretty standard for pretty much every character in the game. Stand 2. NetherRealm. What the fuck is this? NetherRealm, what the fuck is this? This is way too strong. Like, not only does it come out in 13 frames, but this shit reaches half the screen. Like, no one's ever gonna be able to get in on this. Not only is this string alone a massive fuck you to anyone trying to get in on him, but he has some of the fastest and farthest reaching pokes in the entire game. Okay, so you're probably thinking, I can't take this guy head on, otherwise I'm losing 9 out of 10 of my confrontations, so I probably have to jump in a lot to get my openings, but that's before you realise he has one of the best down 2s in the game, some of the best air-to-air moves in the entire game, and 2-1-2 by itself just naturally anti-airs a fuck ton due to its nature of being so high up on the screen. Okay, so maybe he's just a character who's godlike mid-screen, but once you get in on him face to face, then he becomes a lot less intimidating. Maybe his options there aren't as plentiful as other characters like, say, Rambo or Jax or something like that. Well, here I'd like to introduce you to one of the greatest mids in the entire game. Joker's Forward 1, an 11-frame attack in which Joker throws a pile of burning money at the opponent. Now, what makes this move so godlike is that unlike the mids of other characters like Scorpion or Kotal Khan, it both has ludicrous range and leaves him in a stationary position, meaning he can just throw it out willy-nilly without worrying about being right next to the opponent and minus if they block, or being punished if it whiffs. This makes it the perfect stagger, as it beats out pretty much every other mid in the entire game, and being caught by it means you're immediately going to eat a full combo punish, or if you block, he can use his Jack-in-the-Box to immediately reset neutral, and you're back at square one. Okay, so he's pretty much an unstoppable killing machine. Well, that's fine. I mean, look how skinny he is. Like, he's literally just bonking you over the head with a stick. How much damage could he possibly be dishing?
Oh my goodness!
So it looks like NetherRealm saw how busted his offense was and decided, nah, not broken enough. So they gave him some of the highest damage output in the game with combos that my nan could do in her sleep that cop you an easy 35% from mid-screen, making potentially 3 touches from the Joker the difference between a full health bar and death. On top of that, he only becomes 10 times more dangerous on low health, as they gave him a fatal blow that has absolutely no scaling, giving a guaranteed 43% following a 2-hit combo, and is one of the only 2 characters in the game who can cancel their fatal blow mid-animation by dashing, leading to anyone playing against him to immediately shit themselves. See, as soon as Joker has cancelled his fatal blow, there are 2 possible outcomes. He could throw you, resulting in the loss of either 13 or 30%, or continue his pressure, resulting in the loss of 35% or higher if you press a button or let go of block. Now, I can hear you saying, it's easy, just hold block and tech if he tries to throw. But online, this becomes near unreactable. It's actually insane how fast this move comes out. Plus, if even Ninja Killer, a man who I'm legitimately convinced is a Terminator robot disguised as a man, built for the sole purpose of dunking on people in Mortal Kombat, if even he can't react to it, then I'm pretty sure most of us are going to have a hard time dealing with it ourselves. Okay, so he sounds like the perfect character. Does he have any flaws? Any flaws at all to compensate? Well, he does, actually. 1. That's right, 1 entire flaw out of his entire laundry list of broken mechanics. And that is that he's mostly pretty useless from full screen. And that's it. That's right, his projectile is both very reactable and can be crouch blocked by most characters, making zoning him out your best option in most situations. Or I guess it would be if NetherRealm didn't decide to give him another gift in combination with every other pro he's got, making him the most broken character in existence. See, despite being one of the tallest characters, absolutely towering over most members of the cast, he has the smallest crouching hitbox in the whole game, making most projectiles completely whiff over his head like they weren't even thrown in the first place. Now, this might not sound like much, but let me explain to you how this completely breaks the fucking game. See, the game with zoners becomes something like red light, green light. You stop when they throw something, either ducking if it's a high or blocking if it's a mid, and move during the recovery frames, waiting for your moment to punish when they start to panic or do something stupid. Now, a little mind game here is trying to reflexively react to the high and mid projectiles, because if you stay crouch blocking a high or neutral duck a mid, you're both going to lose extra health you didn't need to and be pushed back, losing covered ground. But most of the time, Joker doesn't even need to play this game, as whether it's a high or a mid, it doesn't matter. Just crouch block and all the highs are going to go right over his head either way. Not only that, it makes characters like Kano completely useless, as his bread and butter string, which jails on normal hurt boxes, can be ducked like it's nothing, leading to a full combo punish. And if that wasn't enough, his amplified Jack-in-the-Box goes full screen anyways, is undodgeable, does insane regular and chip damage for a projectile, and is ludicrously plus in all situations, giving him the ability to reset neutral anytime he wants. But don't worry, NetherRealm has shown that they're at least a small tad self-aware, as in the most recent version of the game, Joker's been nerfed with something absolutely game-changing. Did they take away his damage? Did they make his strings slower and more punishable? Did they nerf his crushing blows from being some of the easiest to get in the whole game? No. In their infinite wisdom, they went for the just fucking slap a band-aid on it approach of giving him 5% less health than most of the cast. 5%. Have you seen how fucking fragile this absolute geezer is? If you don't think that someone like fucking Kodal Khan wouldn't rip his little boy pussy open within 3 milliseconds flat, then you're the most smooth-brained fuck. Look, is this the end of the world? No. You could always counterpick with someone like Jade or Cetrion, but that's the problem that characters like Joker cause. They encourage the use of boring and overall brain-dead methods of play that only increase the amount of toxicity in the player base, scaring off new players, some of which, being friends of my own, I've tried to get into the game on multiple occasions. Because this game is fun. It is hands down my most played game on PS4 and PS5 so far. It's my go-to game when friends are over or when I'm about to head out somewhere and I have an hour or so to kill before leaving. Plus, it is extremely fun to play when you are absolutely shit-faced. Watching someone like Rothor win the Coliseum Championship against Jackie Briggs with Rambo, or Averk take on some of the community's greatest champions with Scorpion alone, is some of the most hype shit you will ever see. Everyone loves an underdog story, and there's nothing more underdog than a skin of your teeth victory against a top tier character with someone considered mid or bottom tier. Which makes it all the more disappointing when tournaments are just filled with Jackie after Joker after Cetrion, match after match. It gives me brain rot. Not to mention when you're online just trying to chill out with a few sets, and some absolute troglodyte feels the need to spam projectiles, teabag, and talk shit to you because feeling superior over random people in a video game is the only outlet they have in projecting their miserable fucking lives. But for the most part, NetherRealm did a great job. People are right when they say this is the most balanced game in the franchise, and if their release trend continues like this, Mortal Kombat 12 is looking to be one of the most refined and balanced fighting games ever made. I just hope they're a bit more careful when considering the different strengths and weaknesses of each character of the cast in the future.